Morning, morning. Mokhtar, Ben, Scott, everyone else is joining us. What a freaking morning session I've had. I've been trading this for 5, 6 hours now. Boxy will talk about oil, and then we will go over to equities.
Morning, Victoria.
Boxy, how's it going?
Doing all right. What are you up to?
Well, trading for the past trillion hours.
Trillion hours.
1 trillion world record for longest trading without a
Wow,
break.
that's impressive.
uh, we're on YouTube, so it's technically recorded. You can start
Okay.
whenever.
All righty. Oh, good morning, TRADEPRO Academy, Victoria, YouTube, everybody. All market is down this morning. About $1.70 from where we opened yesterday. Yesterday was a down session in the pit, and the Globex took over at the VWAP and pushed it on down. We put in a Globex low at 68.42 about 7 o'clock this morning. We've come back up from that. The pivot is at 69.64. S1 is down at 68.68, and we caught our open right on S1. Moved above the VWAP briefly, and we're currently rotating the VWAP. So there is not really a trend on at the moment, but there's a lot of bearish pressure in this market. So we'll see what it does with this VWAP. If it pops above it significantly, then you can get long with it. If it doesn't hold to the upside and breaks down, you can get short with it. Whichever way you go, treat it as a fade. Keep smaller size, tighter stop, faster take profit, because we just don't have any trend on it all. So we'll watch it and trade it and let you know what's up. Victorio, back to you.
Perfect. Just trying to find Zoom. So, what do we got going on today? Pretty steep decline and a most recent pop after the PC data, the Fed's favorite inflation gauge. And the PC came out a bit better than expected. So, or sorry, before I lie to you, let me double check what it was. The reaction came out positive, but the PC data, let's see. Yeah, it came out a little softer than expected. So inflation figures, the US PCE index year over year was expected at 2.5. It came out at 2.4, a slight increase from the prior 2.3. The month over month was at 2/10 expected. 1/10 came out, so a slight little decline there. And then the core 2.8 came out versus 2.9 expected and 2.8 for the prior. So a little drop in there, right? Put some upside pressure in this market. Right now, this market is just like, it's on a freaking tear, right? So it's on, or I should say, it's on a tear to the downside. So we had this like large drop on the overnight session, and I did try to find where some buyers might have been. As we were discussing in the early morning session with some people that were up slash some people in the European time zone, I didn't necessarily think that 21,000 would break realistically to the downside. I think that things are still positioned to the downside momentum, right? I think that there is a lot of sell pressure in this market. That's why I was looking at this thinking, okay, well, realistically, like 220 to 240 on the NASDAQ, I think that area should hold just before we got onto this call. I didn't take it on the SPOOs. 0.5 to 10, I think, is a sell area on the SPOOs. That should hold. But right now we're in between these auctions. So one of the good things that this market has done recently is start running through auctions lower and lower. So it makes it a bit easier in a sense to stay on side, right? So now that we're below this area, I think over here around that like 59.10 kind of top part on the ES, if we close the session, the overnight session below that, I think there is reasoning for the sell side to try to continue. The 80 area, 58.80, this was a marker that I've been talking about for a while. Well, not a while, the last like few days, but it's a marker that for me makes sense realistically to try to hold the bid out. So we got a little conundrum right now. We got a little failed acceptance into the auction, into the lower band auction, but we're also under this larger auction on a lot of sell pressure in this market. So the way that I see it is like, okay, let's see if we can sell this like 59.10 area, like a bit below it. Let's see if the seller wants to come out there and then push under this block, right? If they fail to push under this block, okay, the tides can shift a little. But it seems like everyone's complaining Santa rally canceled this and that, blah, blah, blah. It is a pretty stern pullback, but you got to keep in mind how internally weak everything has been in this market. So right now, like this is kind of my line in the sand for the bear continuation. We'll see what happens at 58.80. It's a very similar story here on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, what's going on is that we have, what do we have? Hold on, give me a second. Sorry. So Nasdaq, very similar story here, right? Auctions are completing to the downside in a sense, right? We just keep like opening up new auctions lower and lower and lower and lower. And like we moved through this area yesterday into the close. We closed towards the lows, but the overnight just started crashing through this 320. It started crashing through this. I did take a long around 230, right? It didn't work, obviously, and we started moving under this auction. So for me, around 220 to 240, as we were mentioning, is the spot where I'd want to see this sell side kind of open up. And that's why I'm like, okay, well, I can try to take this position. We can see if we start moving under 140. I think that's a major initial target. And then from there, we'll see what happens at the 21,000 area, right? 21,000, give or take, like maybe 20 points or so. So that's what would really open up the sell pressure. That's what I would identify as like a good sell accumulation and continuation in terms of this market movement. I think realistically, we sell from here and we have to make new lows through those key auction areas to the downside. Otherwise, like if we print a higher low here and we just start breaking above the auction highs, I'm honestly just stopping to sell this thing. I think that rallies probably won't get sold if we start moving too much above like 250, 240 on the NAS. If we start moving too much about 59.10 above 59.10 on the NAS on the S&P, like I think that at that point these guys kind of cancel out that sell pressure, but we'll see. Like we got a decent amount of time until the market opens, so if you guys do have any questions, let me know. We started this a bit early. I think overall, one of the things that we could talk about is like how this kind of sell side and sell pressure is going on in this market right now. We've like dropped off all-time highs. Where is this? We've dropped off all-time highs naturally. We had this like huge Fed day that just like bloodied things up, let's be honest. That downside move was, in my opinion, a little more grotesque than expected. But at the same time, like the warning signs were there. Like breath was like super shit into these all-time highs. It was like turning over. There were a handful of sectors continuously that did well, right? Like, and I mean like 2 or 3 out of the 11 on the S&P that did well. Everything else was just like getting hammered lower. You take a look at like equally weighted averages, like multiple down days continuous. You take a look at value, like the Dow Jones, it's just like continuous press to the downside. Like it had, I don't even know how many red days. I think it was like 10 plus or whatever the case was. You had like an accumulation of sell side pressure on the underneath what was going on in terms of the, I guess, the internals. So it made sense that we're seeing like a decent little pullback, right? Everyone talking about Santa rally canceled, this, that, XYZ, bear is now coming in, everything's over, everyone's going to die. But I don't think that's a fair reality. I think that we are nearing some kind of low. We're just waiting for some kind of extreme exhaustion, which is starting to take shape in breath. Like you can see breath is at extreme oversold territories. even like I would quantify it as medium term breadth on the SPY, which is like stocks above their 50-day average. They're even getting like pretty much oversold territory. Nothing like super insane, but they are accumulating towards that oversold territory. And this is the weakest breadth that we've seen since last November 2023. So it's something fairly significant. And the fact that we're seeing this kind of market internal downside, it seems just like things are kind of catching up to, or I guess the few big players that were holding up the market are catching down to the vast majority of this market that's been kind of struggling over the past few weeks. And then this kind of breadth generally does get oversold, and then there's a quick snap up. Now, the question is, do we make new all-time highs from there? It's a big question realistically, but we'll see. I think first we need to see these guys like knife through and get some kind of extreme oversold action going. I don't think that the S&P drops too much below the gap fill from the presidential election, right? That happened very quickly. And then we could maybe resume into early next year with like some kind of stronger bid action going on. So that's kind of what I'm watching for, seeing the potential in that. Um, right, Friday buy day, generally buy days, but we'll see, right? We'll see if the PCE data actually lingers. For me, right now, we're literally in an immediate area where the seller would want to come out on both of these assets. So if that doesn't happen and we don't get like a swifter drop coming into this open, well, we stand a chance for a pretty strong reversal for today, right? Maybe I should have just kept my longs from around 21K, but I thought I'd try and stick on the trend side after a decent pre-market European session. But if I get stopped out here, it's okay. I actually can move these stops a little. I don't mind it. Go towards this like 5250 area. A little more wiggle room. Morning, everyone that's joining us on YouTube. I don't know. I think like 220 to 240 presents um, some kind of sell pressure realistically on the NAS that would ideally swing us a little lower here. But for that to kind of accumulate, we got to break through like 140. And this is the final day of the last week of full trading. Let me know if any questions arise as we wait for the open in about 6 minutes. 6 minutes of luck can happen. Capital Preservation Friday. Meow. These snapback bids are. Yeah, I did trade a shitload this morning. Micros, though. Micros. Morning, MSA. Could have trimmed this NAS so many times, but I guess I'm opting in to see if I can catch a bigger swing. That's a big buyer at 235. I want to see them trapped. Okay, question. Has this thing, these guys got pretty trapped into that high, but we got to start breaking lows. You mentioned no runners on like 3 contracts, but one runner on 4 cons. Yeah, I think at the beginning that's like a general decent rule of thumb. Are TPs fixed for the 2 or 3 contracts, or you put them at important levels? Again, I think that depends. Like generally, I would probably lean towards borderline fixed around like 2 or 3 to 1. But like you can target larger levels. I think like a lot of this just like depends on level of experience. I think like the sooner that you transition to targeting big areas of interest and like having more malleable targets based on the understanding of the structure and the auctions, the better. I don't know if that answers that question or we're just starting to dance around in circles here, but Oh, jeez. Instant rebid. Shit's getting weird right now. We got a few seconds till this open. It's just gonna get wild. There's a market open. Baring, ring, ring. Huh. There goes S&P is trying to take like a more of a sell here. This Nasdaq's holding on to this shit though. Eh. I want Nasdaq like they got to start breaking this like 180 area realistically if I have any kind of um calm to this short. Like S&P will rebound very aggressively here. Eh. My thought process on the like Nas, like for everyone that's joining late, Nas and Spoos, like right now where we're trading, like these areas are like where the seller has to come through, like where that short is from like 220 to 240 on the Nas. And then on the Spoos, like this like 10 area, 59.10, but like Spoos are holding up pretty well. Nasdaq like rebidding. I wanted to break that 180 if there's any potential for this drop. Fuck this. Nasdaq just rebid monstrously. They're not letting it go. Like it's the ES's fault here. Someone's trying to bid it. Rebids are pretty vicious right now. This S&P is like no new lows on Spoos. Nasdaq trying to make a new low back to these 180s. Like instant fucking failure. Seems like trapped seller too. Oh, Nasdaq.
Morning, Vic, Boxy, Trade
Morning,
Pros,
buddy.
everyone.
Buddy,
What's up, guys? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, and it's
Victory.
oh fuck, it's quad wish today. Shit.
Yeah, short of the opening.
Yeah. Could have taken
It's a
profit
good
like that
area,
three
man.
times.
I know I can see it mid 2 trips lower for like 2030.
Like S&P though, weird shit going on here. Divergence, divergence. Yeah, this Nasdaq might nuke me if this S&P doesn't just like start a very nasty sell-off. And we've got quad witch. How could I forget? What are you looking for, Fatty, today?
The short Vic, like we're down so much that we can't be looking for the buy side. It's just like a matter of where. It's a good area right here. If I get a fill, if I get a good fill, I'll follow you. Like I'm not gonna short 2 5
Yeah,
stuff.
don't.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I hit fake into 240. I can see that possible.
Oof. That'd be a little
Oh,
nasty.
wild day.
Nah, I personally would not like that.
I know. So,
There is some classic quad witch bullshit rotations here.
oh.
A lot of buying accumulating 220 here on this. I want to
That's me
stuff these guys.
trying the short.
S&P, come on, baby. $180 is a nasty, nasty guy. Isn't it futures on options, equities, and then
Indexes.
yeah. I don't know what 4 or 3 of them are, but I know that this short is starting to look like shit. Triple witch, quad witch, potato, potato. S&P going on a zip. This Nasdaq looks like it's about to explode out here too. Like a lot of negative delta accumulation into the mid 180s, and then now look at this huge buyers back into this 233, 235 area. I'm about to clap my stops. It was worth a shot. There I go. I'm out of that. I think at this point, like that sell is kind of dead, man.
Yeah. Though it looks S&P strong as that followed through. Strong pop through resistance. Yeah. Uh,
It's okay.
mhm.
Nasdaq rebid that 0510. It was pretty over from there. Or S&P, sir. I should have just held my longs. I don't know what I was thinking. Literally first short I take today just nuked. Starting to build out some decent failed acceptance here. Let's see. You've got a trail of buyers that were left behind on this Nasdaq at the 230s. Like that's where I'd entertain the continuation of the long S&P. Like I don't even know at this point. Like I doubt that this thing pulls back all the way to like 05 to 10.
Yeah.
Like S&P now building up like positive delta around the 15. I don't know. I think Nasdaq might be a little more playable if it respects these areas. It's a matter of seeing if this is actually going to hold here, or are we just going to come back into the auction?
Oh, it's gonna pull back to that 10.
Yeah, might. Yeah, I probably will. I probably will.
Yeah.
I like to see Nas into the 230s. Like shit. I don't know. I don't want to buy it like 260 and then see something that makes sense. So if this turns into just like one just torpedo to the downside, then it was just a head fake above this area. It's like what a freaking rip on this. Has stopped me
No.
and everyone else out with it. It's just that like huge buyers, like 500 on the market buy, 233 on the Nasdaq when it was running up. Like, brother, you got to defend it.
This moment, brother, is looking like it's gonna see 251.95 back on Nasdaq. The way things are looking. We held down on those rotations. Nice
Rebid
push.
45. You got to be kidding me. S&P 15's shite. Let's see. Every offer on this sell so far doesn't look super convincing. They're like easily bid up. It was kind of the same off the open, which maybe lose confidence in the trade. Really don't want to be that guy that buys this area, man. Yeah, but probably gonna be that guy that just watches it go.
There's only two guys can
Yeah,
be
there's only
really
two
as
guys. Oh my good. I'm the second guy watching it go. There's a guy that shorts.
Yo, there is the guy. Uh, uh,
I just want to see what goes on into that 32, 35, man. Like, that's it. If we just like destroy 235 and we come back into this auction, those assholes just took me out for nothing.
and it was just one huge hit streak of 40, 50 points. That's
Yeah.
what it was, that push. Nine, 10 on ES.
They did do it.
Yeah. ES leading in weakness right
Yes,
now.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, 230 is trading. Let's see what these guys do here. There's a lot of buying there. No new buying. This is what I feared, you dicks. Just gonna head fake for this shit to just like drop again. Oh, come on, man.
Just getting into the usual price action update after the US cash open.
You
Given
God,
indices, they do open in the red. You do have S&P down about 0.5%, Nasdaq underperforming, down about 90 basis points. Dow Jones roughly flat. Likewise for the Russell 2000. In terms of the sector breakdown, to see healthcare outperforming, followed by real estate and materials. And on healthcare, Eli Lilly is seeing gains after its EU competitor released some disappointing weight loss results on one of its drugs. Elsewhere, consumer discretionary, technology and communication lagging, and for discretionary, Nike did report earnings, issuing cautious commentary and guidance. Shares have seen some downside. In terms of FX, the dollar has pulled back from weekly highs, currently at about 108.13, so just hovering above that 107 handle. Does follow softer than expected PCE report, which does limit upside. Briefly recapping that PCE report, it did see the core and headline both beneath expectations on a month-over-month and a year-over-year basis. As such, treasuries have caught a bid, seeing some relief with spreads steepening in the 530, 510s, and 230s. In terms of G10 FX performance, that does see the yen, franc, pound all lead, followed by the euro. In terms of the euro dollar, that is edging higher ahead of some chunky option expiries at the New York cut. Does recoup earlier downside, fueled by US President-elect Trump threatening tariffs if the EU do not engage in large-scale purchases
I think it's going to make a new low day and just a head fake up to like 300.
That is firmer as a soft PT report does offset any weakness from that retail sales miss in November. Cable currently sitting at about 125.45. Dollar yen only at about 156.53. And for crude, prices are weaker by about 80 cents a barrel on the day as that downtrend in the week continues. Remember, we did have reports recently that the G7 could adjust the Russian energy price cap with pressure. Yeah, we do have Eurozone final December figures. Headline expected unchanged at 74. Those conditions, recapping previous results, they were 77.7, expectations 71.6. Also looking out for the final revisions of the 1 and 5 year inflation expectations. For the 1 year, 2.9% was the last figure, and for 5 year it was 3.1%. Also expecting Eurozone consumer confidence flash that is expected to worsen to -14 from -13.7. Additionally, Goolsby is set to appear on CNBC. The 2025 voter has last spoken earlier this month after that November's job report, which should be expectations. Goolsby noted in the last few months, job numbers feel like a sustainable and full employment place. He also said for the Fed to change policy direction, data will need to show inflation is not heading to target, or the jobs market looks like it's overheating.
I am more biased to the downside. It's just like I gotta get a better area to attempt to sell from again. Like if it just keeps like whipping around through the areas, then I really gotta wait for this thing to settle down. Like now, or sorry, S&P trying to run up again, NASDAQ trying to run here. There's like I don't even know what's happening right now. Like I don't really know if I want to sell the same area I sold earlier. Got stopped out of.
Kind of want to be a buyer, honestly, but like I kind of had fake like below 190, then up above that. I don't know. I want to give the buyers one more shot. Maybe 192,
This is quad witch, people. Like this is the shit we're gonna be dealing with today. I'm gonna see if I can fill some of this 230, 235 area on the sell. Don't lose your ass on a quad witch. Where are these steps like this? Oof. We get taken out of this thing again. Watching these guys respect 230 for some reason. I have a problem disrespecting it before. Yeah, that took me out. Oh.
Buyers are gonna send it back to highs. And this is it.
That really disrupts my view of what's going on right now. I'm gonna dump one more short into this 250 and then like 255 area. If it doesn't work, that might be curtains for me. There's aggression on this buyer, it seems.
The short is giving hope.
They gotta lose the 230s, those pesky assholes over there. They combined all the delta they could potentially muster. If this doesn't initiate a waterfall under 230, if we actually trade it, then it's going to be a difficult time.
Just 1 minute now to the top of the hour. Again, looking out for the final Euro data is expected unrevised at 74, as well as Eurozone consumer confidence flash.
Well, EU data, yeah, okay, thanks. Just what I need.
Good seller now, 240.
10 seconds.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Unrevived at 74 as expected. For conditions, they actually one expectation they rise to 73.3. 1 year inflation expectations are revised down to 2.
You gotta be kidding me. This Eurozone news did that shit.
revised
Like it was
down
looking
to
pretty good. Watch this thing dump back down now. Like, that's triggering. I don't want to short this again. This quad, which is taking me for a spin today.
Just seeing Eurozone consumer confidence data, that's negative 14.5, below the expected negative 14.
You still in?
No, I got taken out. Ridiculous, honestly. I don't know. This is a situation where honestly I'm not very confident in the direction of what's going on. S&P holding a bit better. It's bullish nature above this like 1005 area. Dude, I really want to short this, but I feel like I'm overdoing it at this point.
How many times are you in? 2? The early one before the stop and the second one here at 250. That's not overdoing
my
it.
third. It's my third short from I guess like the pre-market right now.
It's the middle one.
On any of them.
The last one was just a news buzz type of reaction. Really, that's the annoying part.
These guys are like slowly grinding higher is my issue here.
Yeah.
All right, they've convinced me. 260s, high 260s, ideally 270 area. Let's see here. I think my stops are too tight, but like not that. That really would have saved me on that last run. It's my fault I'm not taking any profits off, you know, like
just on the US energy front, seeing a report
I don't going against the current momentum.
Power use that could account for as much as 12% of total US electricity consumption. Demand could potentially nearly triple by 2028.
All right, I'm out of that. I think I don't want to trade this quad witch anymore. After these guys like head fake me off that like first move and then dropped, then I started looking for the sell. These guys started bidding it up. Like, I guess I'm just like fighting the current momentum. It's bullish. It's very bullish. I said like head fake swing lower, rebid back up, catch the bull. S&P looked a lot better, I'm not gonna lie, but moral of the story is just keep buying. Flow flipped pretty strong here. Now I'm just triggered. I just didn't hold those longs from the low from the overnight. Opting in for a stupid short. Bears never win. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I don't necessarily. I think like I've exhausted my bullets on this. And I could go around blaming it on like quad witch or whatever it is, but realistically, I think like that last one wasn't a good trade. Otherwise, I back all the trades that I took. Yeah, watch this thing just sell off back into lows. And if it does that, fine. You know what? Like earlier on, I realized my read is kind of off and I don't really understand what's going on right now. It's just like swinging back and forth. I'm seeing like bearish flow come in, bullish flow, but at the same time, like this is what you're gonna get from like a triple witch or quad witch or whatever the hell it is.
It's a quad witch.
I don't know.
On the energy front, according to Reuters sources, Russia and Ukraine failed to agree on the Azerbaijani brokered deal on Russian gas transit to Europe. Again, Russia and Ukraine have failed to agree on an Azerbaijani brokered deal on Russian gas transit to Europe, according to a source cited by Reuters. The Brazilian central bank sells none of the 15,000 traditional currency swaps offered at auction.
Oh well. One of the issues I think is like I also wasn't fully trading the areas that I like to. Like if I was trading mainly level to level, okay, fine. Maybe I could have had a better move of this, but
Market just pops the highs, then puts in the deepest
Probably
pullback ever.
bank they announced
these are days that your ass gets headed to if you don't stop
Yeah.
soon.
dollars.
One touch bounce off the two. Okay, now they want to respect this area. That's fantastic. I think like there's gonna be what seems like opportunistic swings, but it's a little tougher for me to gauge this right now. Like it could start moving more fluidly into the afternoon, but at that point, like at that point, what is there left to do?
Not much of it. We either bought when those initial sell-off happened, you were not fearful, or you're just sitting on the outside, not shorting. Those are the two only options. And also be looking for the long, like I am. I'm down two trades, tried the 220 and like tried two shorts, but like I have one trade left in me. I'll be on the long. I'm just trying to get a good price. That last pullback into like 250 very quickly pick up.
I think S&P was a big leader today in terms of holding out this buy side.
Just noting the equity space, ever since that bounce at the open, we have now just in the ES, just crossed very briefly into the green for the session. By way of comparison for other indices, Nasdaq, that's down at 0.2%.
Just seeing here, Brazil Finance Minister Haddad says the positive impact of fiscal package over 2 years is expected to decrease by 1 billion reals after congressional changes. And the final effect of the fiscal package closely aligns with the 71.9 billion reals in savings they had estimated for 2 years. There's also a note that the income tax reform proposal is being redrafted. And there is no intention to change the fiscal framework. So further hear from the Brazilian finance minister here. Further from Brazilian finance minister says the central bank should focus on the inflation target and nothing else.
That pesky inflation. I was watching this. These guys look a little top heavy here. I don't see too many like crazy imbalances. I don't know. I don't trust this a lot. Could have this just like strong runaway day, just constant bidding.
So just note, Fed's Goolsby is now speaking on CNBC.
Oh, fantastic. And Fed speaker.
Yeah, great. So helpful.
Goolsby says that the Fed are still on the path to get back to 2% inflation. And he tells CNBC it's nice to get an inflation number that's better than expected.
See you guys at 460, I guess. On has.
Goolsby says he feels there's a lot more uncertainty and noise. When he was questioned whether he was one of the FOMC members who increased his inflation forecast for 2025. Goolsby says the next 12 to 18 months, rates can go down a fair amount. So Goolsby says over the next 12 to 18 months, rates can go down a fair amount.
Dun, dun, dun.
Goolsby says need to keep making some progress on inflation. Notes that employment is stable and want to keep it stable. To do so, rates need to come down to something like neutral. Again, Goolsby said to keep employment stable, rates need to come down to something like neutral.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, wizard.
Wish we'd have thought of that.
Yeah, we're two stupid, Boxy. That's why we're here. I'm not a Fed chair.
Agree. The policy rate is
Guess that's why you're not a Fed chair, Vic.
Yeah, too dumb to think that of that out of the box.
Restrictive, and agrees the policy rate is still far from neutral. Goolsby says we are significantly less restrictive than we were.
When moon. Look at these rotations. This is crazy. Trying to look for a trade right now or like getting into anything is going to be probably the most frustrating thing ever.
Oh, good luck.
They're rotating like slightly higher continuously, so they're like trying to short this might be a bit tougher right now. I don't really see too many imbalances either to give me any
Confirm, yeah.
clues of what's going on.
Yeah. Thing is, for me, like, for to be short in this market, considering you blew through a lot of like those resistances, there has to be like that a new distribution that is like failed acceptance into it. So that puts you at like 440, 460 area for the sell. And for the buy
Yeah,
side to come close to like a lower high, sorry, a higher low, like you need to be close to the higher low for me to consider it. And that can put me like around the 260, 255, which is still way far from the price. So yeah, nothing here for me really. It's just watching it. I have one trade I don't wanna no blow it to waste.
really. We're trying to enter into the next distribution higher now.
As Goolsby says, it's the Fed's job to think through scenarios. They don't know what the new administration will propose. It does come in the context of being asked about the potential effect of an incoming Trump presidency.
Where did you get the overnight long, Vic?
So he does note the uncertainty
The 0.15.
to generate forecasts.
0.50. Oh my God, that's literally that fucking lows.
Yeah, I know.
Legend.
Acknowledged that he is shallower on the rate path for 2025 as a result of the uncertainty.
Legend.
And then I opted out for taking it out to fucking short this like a noob. And like I'm not on this long right now, so it's like can't really do much. At least I'm not shorting this shit anymore. Like I had my chance. I didn't want to make you lows. Buy side is just like super aggressive.
Goolsby says rates will go down next year. Goolsby says rates will go down next year.
I'm pretty confident in that, Goolsby.
Goolsby says rates will come down by a judicious amount next year. So Goolsby says rates will come
Judicious
down by
amount.
There's judicious amount. This is the
and the rate path will be determined by employment and prices.
boy is confident, Vic.
Super confident. What the hell is this market? I picked the low just for this shit to happen. $120s on the sell right now, 425 on NASDAQ. Huge seller.
When asked if the Fed will be data dependent going forward, or at least more data dependent going forward, Goolsby just replied saying it may be.
Maybe.
That was the ultimate troll.
We don't know, maybe.
Possibility.
But from Goolsby, it says there's a wide consensus at the Fed that the long-run neutral rate is well below where the policy rate is now.
Honestly, impressive run, Goolsby. This guy's reversing all of Powell's movement.
Goolsby goes on to note that recent inflation has been higher than expected. For sure, bumps can happen and policy uncertainty, but it is clear that inflation is heading towards 2%.
Strong area now, 440, 420. Let's see, man. These guys are just like on the Giga Turbo everything bid.
That interview on CNBC with Fez Goolsby has now concluded. Just in terms of the crux of it, potentially slightly more dovish than some of his other counterparts. He does note that rates need to come down at something like neutral in order to keep employment stable. And does also note that uncertainty on policy is part of why he feels the rate path next year is a bit more shallow. And he does also note that rates will go down next year by a judicious amount. All those comments have been recapped on the headline feed of the website. In terms of market moves during these comments from Goolsby, stocks have been grinding higher, although they're already edging higher ahead of his remarks. We are now about 4/10 in the ES, but do bear in mind, not necessarily attributing all that strength to Goolsby.
Goolsby the GOAT.
The other one.
Goolsby the best.
Right.
What is this shit, bro?
Oh, God.
You're a noob if you sell.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Look at this.
Green bar is almost running from my screen.
I know. I'm just happy I'm not a seller in this shit right now.
I know. Buy 420 because the way things are looking.
Bro, you gotta like buy market in this thing.
I don't know.
We're going to yesterday's highs. Nothing's gonna stop this thing.
I'm gonna throw up the early exit, Vic.
Yeah, sure. Is that how much time's gone by? Jeez.
Yep. Your trillion in first hour.
Goolsby the GOAT.
Well, you just don't get the name for nothing, you know.
Nah, bro, this is
You
this guy's a
gotta.
legend. This guy's a legend. I'm not touching this shit with a 10-foot pole on the cell. You gotta be crazy, man.
Eurozone is commentary here from Carnival.
I was long S&P 100 points lower and the Nasdaq like literally 500 points lower. That's crazy to me. Opted in to sell this shit. Like, come on, dude. At least I stopped when these guys just exploded through that like 250 area. $240, $230. Like, if you're gonna fade this, you got a spot. I don't have a confident read on it either, Robert. That's why, like, it looked like a decent short. These guys just like head faked and crushed it lower. But after that, after this little fiasco here, like, that's it for me on that short, man. Like, you got to tap out above these auction highs. Not that I'm long this, but my God. Even here, these rotations. This is what I was talking about in the mentorship today. Like, they might look like bearish rotations at the top of this auction, but like, nah, man. These guys are not. What does this thing look like on a daily chart? Oh, wow. Nvidia holding out okay. It's not bad. Ooh, Microsoft, well. Fatty, man, I got that urge to sell it.
Yeah, I'm above urge and trying to get a fill. Uh,
I think best case scenario right now is like we hold the auction low right around that 440. And that was the area trading it yesterday. My good. Seems like forever ago. And try to get on this long side. I don't think these guys are done. It's looking like a pretty strong trend day here. I feel like if I didn't have those like juicy longs from the overnight, like I wouldn't have been this reckless today in a sense. Damn, that's an offer, man. This thing is looking like pretty. A lot of heavy offering. So tempted to do it. I said I wouldn't trade anymore. I got some capital to liquidate.
Same thing as money to burn.
Pretty much, yeah. I got a bit of coin that I can throw in the furnace. Liquidate it into someone else's bank account. I don't know, man. Like this buy side's like pretty freaking strong, you know. Like it's going against us would be ludicrous. But damn, it looks okay. I'll try to put some limits out here at this 5:30. Maybe I'm late on it. Maybe that's a blessing, you know. Best trade right now, honestly, would probably be waiting for that 4:30 to see if we can pull back and actually hold it.
sells $2 billion in its dollar auction.
Oh wow, didn't fill any of that. Question is, if I do fill, am I going to be upset about that? Mass liquidation.
Please. Yeah, don't hit this 505 and bounce, please. It's just a plummet.
Fatty,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, big sell. Come
These
on,
guys
don't
gotta
get
break
stuck.
that like
545, please.
I know.
I gotta let go here.
I gotta break that 490 for me to be like satisfied with this shit.
I love your targets, Vic. Oh my god. They make my greed look like a joke.
Well, I'd love to see 430. That's like the main target on this.
They
But
ain't
we'll
doing
see,
it
man.
really. They ain't really.
Someone sitting at that 505 is just like taking the piss out of this.
Bloody shadow the buyers.
Yeah, do they think this is a fucking game here?
Look, they're here.
No, this S&P, man, you piece of shit market. Am I going to round trip another 30, 40 point move, or are we going to get a target this time? The sellers did look good initially, but like, man, they only get like a 30-point pull down. Why am I stopped so freaking small on this? I've been fighting this monstrous bid all day. Well, not all day. That's not true. It's a very easy rebid, it seems, for these guys. Every pullback that they get.
According to Reuters sources, US plans to blacklist the company that ordered TSMC chip found in Huawei processor, according to a source cited by Reuters. So Chinese-based chip designer Sofco is in the process of being placed on the US Commerce Department's entity list. And again, that's according to a source cited by Reuters.
I see the vision. The big drop off. He'll be back. Will I host until he's back?
Can you
Taking
hear
one
me?
more. Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
Disconnected.
Sorry. Wanna share? Wanna share the screen? There you go.
This thing's just like loading. Ship bags didn't want to break the 500 again. What is happening? A second here. Sorry, technical difficulties.
Should I share until you're good? Is that what you want? Very good.
Weird stuff. Anyways, where like there's a move that's like happening. It's like pretty solid. Honestly, like I could trim. I could take pieces off 490. Like a 40-point move is pretty solid. I could, but
But I am legend. Yeah.
we'll see.
I don't know. Personally, I took two off. We go to 8.
The super dom. What's a super dom? I guess I am still using a dom. I don't know if it's a super dom though. All I know is that this buyer's freaking hangry. I don't know, man. That 40-point move might have been all these guys had in them.
Yeah, the way things are looking. Yeah. Looked good for a second there to open up the expansion lower below like 505, and then buyers just stepped in.
Yeah, the bid comes in like super aggressively.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's like underlying NAS weakness. It's just this S&P is just freaking powerful today. See some like okay size sellers trying to come in on this NAS, man. Like they're really trying to hold it, but they evaporate when we get like a 10-point move lower. You have to keep the energy, brother.
Seeing the latest Atlanta Fed GDP now, that comes in at 3.1%. That's revised down from 3.2% for Q4.
Snap back bid.
Snap back off.
I won't believe it until I see it.
So you see it on the ground.
Yeah, pretty much. Then I'll be a believer.
Uh,
Yeah.
Stay an unbeliever. That's
Yeah. This is what greed does to a person.
Oh, that's GG for me. 3 trades. Story of the trades, mostly 2 of them take 2 off, stop them for the second one, take 2 off, stop them 6
Yeah.
down on the session. Control down. Not like terrible. It was just, I don't know. It's just the annoying part is honestly when they rounded below that low of the first push from the sellers, I was like, hey, they're gonna send it to highs, and after I
They're
thought
just
that,
like,
I did 2 shorts. So that's,
yeah, I think just because like it's hard to be on this long. Like I don't know, I
I
couldn't
know
find the spot to
it
pick
is.
that long out.
It is. It is. You had to pick up like some shallow pullback. They're like too aggressive. There's just no way for me.
I got stopped on a lot of those.
That's good. Hold whatever is left till the ground. You'll be
I got
positive.
stopped on half of them, I should say.
When using Rhythmic Shamil, make sure you have Denali and make sure you allow for data support. Otherwise, Rhythmic order is just a mess. So Denali allow data support from the levels from the settings, and it'll be better. Big buyer stuck at the top on the ES here. I think you'll get it on the next I pick. This is
Yeah, I don't
exciting.
know, man. Like,
And then I don't know.
I'm like, do I sell more of this? Like,
Yeah, that's a tough call. I have to make that one.
I'm trying to sell more of it.
Did you mean to pull the poll up?
Me?
What do you mean?
Well, the
Oh,
poll flashed up, but I'm not the host. I can't do anything with it.
there you go. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to the time currently.
Or place.
Yeah, I'm trying to short this
Yeah,
monstrous
I'm
bull.
not sure. I'm not paying attention to anything like that. Oh, God.
Oh my god.
That
I got
is
big fish to fry here,
yeah.
Boxy. Thing is, like, I don't think the trades were necessarily bad on today. Like, I'm okay with the trades that I took. I just think, like, maybe the last, not this short, but the one before that was a bit too much.
Sellers getting active. Did you add, Vic? Did you
I
bid
tried.
back? Inside.
I didn't though.
That's fair. That's fair. That's good. Good move by you.
TRADEPRO Academy, let's close this poll out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pretty flat.
Better. Yeah. Thank you, Lexi. Habibi.
My pleasure.
You want to do a wrap up?
I do. So oil's been up and down. Basically, we broke the VWAP and had a good short opportunity and stayed low for a while, but then about 10:15 we broke above and we're now making higher highs and higher lows. Trends are green, so it looks like long side's the right side for at least the moment. Whatever you do, monitor your risks, trade like a trade pro, and preserve that capital. I don't know if you guys are trading the end of the year, but I'm heading Monday out to the mountains, and I will see everybody on January the 6th. I hope everybody has a great holiday, and you gentlemen have a great holiday as well. Ciao.
Awesome, Buxy. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your holidays. And yeah, 55% on the poll between both polls. Tougher session today. I'm personally saying like I took 3 trades. Honestly, like some of them, 2 of them, I tapered some profit, but like they eventually ended up in a stop. Tougher day today, quad witch, and it was tougher because like the long side direction. Well, first of all, like kind of we've been short since Powell. So like trying the short is okay as long as it's around key areas. And today, like you get this monster's bid, and it's hard to get on the long. And some of the shorts just did make sense. So I'm okay with honestly the trades that I took. A lot like Vic, like those trades kind of made sense for me. The outcome isn't in my hand, but like systematically, it's not like I impulse traded or anything. It's just sell side couldn't get an expansion of more than 40 points. That's just the reality of it. And yeah, I'm okay with that. Regardless, great results. Honestly, like considering the context of the day, 55%. It was tough. It was tough today, man. Oh yeah. As far as the rest of the day, honestly, I'm not seeing anything that indicates bearishness into this or even a deeper pullback. It just keeps chugging higher and higher, and the more you fight it, the worse it's just gonna get. So for me, I'll take a step back and see how like things shape up later in the day. Maybe there's opportunity. Maybe we just continue this upside bid, erase all of Powell's price action. Oh yeah, Victorio, back to you, brother.
100%, man. Like honestly, I was long the lows on the overnight. I traded way too long today. Like I was I think I overtraded the session. I had decent shorts. My main issue was like I didn't take profits. Like I didn't even take partials on any of them. I was looking for this like massive rejection when all prices were doing was just like accepting into auctions higher and higher. So like I was on the wrong side, obviously. And even this last one, like a 40-point move in my direction, I didn't take anything off, got stopped. I gave back a decent chunk of the overnight profits. And I'm not gonna blame Quad Witch or anything else. It's just I was a little stubborn and I couldn't get on the long side and paid for it, right? That's what it's all about. And right now we just like continue this constant like monster rip. And I don't know, right? If there's a turning point sometime today, maybe in the afternoon, but we're just like continuously accepting auctions higher. I don't know. I don't see the vision for these sellers to come in and like try to sweep shit around. So I'm personally not going to trade anymore for the day, right? I'm going to do a little journal update and then see what's going on, and that's going to be it for me. But enjoy the holiday season, everyone. We'll have some more YouTube videos for you guys on the weekend and probably next week. But in terms of streams, we'll be back in 2025. So thanks, everyone. I'll be in Discord and we'll see what's going on, and take care.